Good morning, troops. Hope you're all well. Apologies for the late update. I've been in a little bit of shit state, so I needed some time. However, without further ado, I went to court on Monday. Sirs, ma'ams, why are we allowing these judges? Is what the problem is with our great country. They promote bad behaviours. So as you guys all know, I submitted in paperwork last week, turned up to court Thursday. The judge wasn't there. Okay, the case was adjourned until Monday. Even though I've been asking all week for an adjournment and I was refused, they decided that they needed an adjournment on Friday. So we came back Monday and there was a different judge, no police officers. Okay, the last time we submitted similar paperwork to Bristol Crown for the citizen's arrest of PC 693, when we turned up in the morning, the courtroom was filled with police, okay? There was no police. I turned up to court. I made the usher aware that I was feeling faint and fragile and sick. And I said, please tell the judge that I'm in shit state. I submitted everything. Got in there, straight away he took the piss out of me. He threatened me with arrest. They hadn't read anything that I submitted. Even though last week I successfully submitted documents and notices to the court, and the case progression officer told me that she'd put him in front of the judge. So somebody's being less than honest, okay? So the judge hadn't seen anything we'd submitted. So first of all, they're splitting the trial into two, okay? There is a possession of cannabis charge, and there is the assault of the PC. Now, they're keeping the assault of the PC in the magistrates because they're claiming that it's a statutory only. Now, we've learnt from the courtroom, when I conducted the citizen's arrest on PC 693, I initiated the arrest by putting my fingers on his shoulder. And then when he tried to flee the crime scene, it resulted in a mutual body count, right? Now, this time, when Sergeant Geraint Rees entered my property without no warrant, apparently I kicked him, okay? I kicked him across the living room. He dropped to the floor and it made his finger bleed, right? I busted his finger. So that is obviously a far more serious offence than the PC 693, okay? However, they're giving me a less of a charge. Assault of a PC is less of a charge than assault of an emergency worker. And the reason that they're doing that is because they're attempting to take the jury away from me. Now, I'm sure, sirs, ma'ams, as you know, if I do not get a jury, I'm going to be in trouble. Because, you know, these guys know who I am. Soon as I rock up to court, all the security know me, you know, first name terms. And some people will think that that's bad because I'm a criminal, because you are conditioned, okay? We've all seen Dr. Fauci recently giving no comment. Nothing says trust the science like no comment, eh? So they split the trial into two. They're not allowing me to cross-examine the pigs. And on Monday, I said to the judge, well, why aren't I allowed to cross-examine these police officers? He said, no, you can't do that. I said, I done that last month when I arrested PC 693 for misconduct in public office. He quoted me sections 17, 34, 35 and 36 of the Youth Justice and Criminal Evidence Act 1999. So, and then I asked him, what section is it, sir? Because you've given me 17, 34, 35 and 36. He said, you can read whatever one you want. That is what these guys are like. I didn't hear the guy. Well, I obviously wrote all the sections down. But when I asked him, can I just confirm that? He wasn't willing. He said, you can read whatever you want, but... Judge Jeremy Jenkins violated my rights. He made a decision based on just the CPS's evidence. he wouldn't read anything that I've submitted. In what world is a judge making a decision when he's only seeing one half of the party's evidence? It's because they know who I am and they are petrified. That's the reason why they don't want me cross-examining these coppers. Because they've read the transcripts from the last couple of cases and they know Chen be on fire, right? To me, cross-examining is nothing. It's just like conducting a lesson within the military. And then you ask the students to confirm the information that you've been spilling. So they've removed that right from me. Honestly, guys, absolute shambles. What else did they do? So my cannabis case has been pushed back to April 2027, 28th of April. However, the assault of the PC that they're trying to keep in the magistrates will be next month, the 23rd of September, for the assault on the PC. So I hope many of you can come and witness to try and put pressure on these crooked bastards. Apologies, my French troops. I'm a little bit fatigued. But we have to start holding these people to account. The judge also, so when you're in court, right, you have levels of disclosure. So the first level, I've been handed in a bundle this size. And then 4 or 5 days later, they sent me another bundle this size that I had to read in a week. So I said to the judge, I haven't had enough time. He said, if you don't give a plea today, I'm going to enter a plea for you. So I didn't give a plea, and he entered a not guilty plea for me. I'm unable, right, listen to this. I don't even know what these crooked rats have on me. For example, they say that they have plant matter. Now, I can't see what plant matter they're referring to. It could be a dandelion plant, for all I know. And I said to the judge, I said, sir, how do you expect me to get full disclosure when I'm unable to see the images? Because they print it out as it is on the computer, right? So there's links, so I can see that there's a link there. Now, I'm obviously unable to click on a paper link because there's no such thing, right? I said this to the judge, and he said, CPS, give him photos of the links. I said, no, I don't require photos. I said, I've read a little bit of the police's statements, and they've been less than honest. I said, I need the videos. So the judge turned to the CPS, because, sirs, ma'ams, right, when you represent yourself, you have everything that the barrister is entitled to, you were entitled to. So I made the judge aware. I said, sir, you know I'm representing myself. I'm a litigant in person. I said, I'm unable to click on them videos. I said, I need them videos in order to get my questions ready for the cross-examination. That's when he told me I wasn't cross-examining the coppers with the Youth Justice Act. Load of bloody nonsense. So the judge, he ordered the CPS to give me full disclosure, but he deemed that we'd already hit that threshold. We haven't, because I haven't seen the bloody videos. He didn't give a timestamp. Normally they say, CPS, you got to give, the prosecution got to give the defendant the full disclosure in X amount of days, 14 days, 28 days. He didn't give nothing. He just said, oh, okay, you'll get it. And then excused me from the court. And then I said, excuse me, sir, how are you making judgment when you haven't seen anything? That's it. The case is over. Please leave. Sir, you're not going to answer? Please leave my courtroom. Like it's his courtroom. Like it's not our courtroom. So that's what I've got for you, sirs, ma'ams. Apologies, it's late. These guys are absolutely taking the piss out of us. And we need to hold these guys accountable. So please, if you are able to support us, it's 1000 hours. The next time in 1000 hours, 23rd of September, for Dale Vincent v. King, assault of a PC. Thank you ever so much, sirs, ma'ams. Have a wonderful day.